Poducer.
Cool. Well, we're here. Thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate it. I know.
Thanks for having me,
You're
man.
busy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We start out with a fun question, but I also saw something while doing some digging, and people say you look like Tom Cruise.
I'll get up on this couch right now, man. I've gotten so many comments online about Tom Cruise. I'd started seeing like one or two. I was like, oh, coincidence. That other person said that. But now we're up to like 20 or 30 comments I think I've seen that said Tom Cruise.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there.
I do too.
You look in the mirror like,
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Cruise is cool. I like Tom Cruise.
I'm all right with it.
Have you done like a Mission Impossible remix or anything?
A great idea. That's a great. I could like dress up like him, put on sunglasses and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yo, Frankie, that fucking thing I forgot to turn off. Can you just... Yeah, it's the weed. Toma's here, and my air purifier is like, there's weed in the room. Thank you.
What's that?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you, Frankie.
I was wondering what
Yeah. So yeah, like a Mission Impossible thing could be
I like
cool.
it.
It's a great score, so you have a lot to work with. But anyway.
No, I'm definitely gonna do that now.
Okay, yeah. I feel like it'll feed into the lore, whether or not you really want that or not. People would be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's responding."
You know, a comment's a comment, and that helps the algorithm. So even if it says, "Yo, you look like Tom Cruise," it helps the whole thing.
Hashtag Scientology.
Yeah, yeah,
That might be a risky move, actually.
yeah.
I don't
There's
know.
that whole other side to it, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, the fun question. That was kind of the fun question.
Okay.
That was the icebreaker. Okay. Also, first of all, I should introduce the podcast, which is, I'm trying to be better about this. Yo, what's up, guys? This is Poducer, the podcast for producers. Today we are joined by Jason Leech.
Hello, world.
And real quick, can you just explain, what do you do?
I am a musician. I'm a piano player first. That was the introduction into music, and then I got into keyboards, so I'm a /keyboardist, and then my most recent thing is producing and trying to learn that instrument.
And the crazy live performances.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I think too, like when, like even before like producing, I think I'm a performer because I like to perform versus sit alone in a dark room and click. You know, I have to do it for like, you know, do what I'm doing. But I was like, I think what I really like is just playing, and that's kind of what I've been putting out the most, you know, just watching me play keyboards.
Yeah, definitely. The clips are good. I like the clips.
They're working.
They're working. Yeah.
Yeah.
You found the thing.
But I love making those. I think that's like the core of, you know, like what I love is just sitting in the room and playing keyboards.
Yeah, I was looking at your YouTube, and like the first video was like 9 years ago. So like you've been performing, doing these like remixes, like edits for a while. So this isn't something new.
No, but it is. Yeah, producing is like, I guess it feels. Yeah, I see these like when it's like a post and it says 9 years, and you're like, oh my gosh, because it seems like, you know, it's like I just got started, but then you start seeing how old some of these things are. But yeah, that's I used to make YouTube videos like funny skits, and I liked making funny videos, and then like that was like in high school with my friends, or even like in like early, like in elementary school, even just like on VHS tapes, I'd like make funny videos. I liked videos, and I like editing, you know. And then I just like 9 years ago decided I can combine video editing with music. I'll just shoot me playing the music, you know.
So you already had like the editing chops. Yeah, man, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We all kind of have to know how to edit at this point.
And I really enjoy it. Like it's a hobby that is within music, but I count that as like my second favorite hobby, like music and then video editing. I love editing video.
Dude, I bought like I used DaVinci, and there's just all these crazy tools. Like there's like upscale, like you can upscale a video from like 720p to 4K and it like looks good. There's just so many tools at our disposal now. Yeah, like even slowing stuff down that isn't shot at a high frame rate, like it'll like interpolate and still look smooth. It's just like there's so much you can get away with.
Is that
now.
Like AI that does that?
I think I don't know if it's like AI, like, because you know how everything is just AI now, whether or not it is.
Yeah.
Just to like sell it, but it's like some processing, you know.
Yeah, it's like it figures out what it needs to look like, and
it's filling in the space, so maybe it is AI.
Yeah.
But cool, man. Well, I was talking about a fun question, which I start every show with, which is, what was your first concert that you attended?
The Beach Boys.
Oh, that's a fire concert.
Yeah.
Wait, was yours the Beach Boys? No. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at Toma, and he's like, no.
Beach Boys.
Mine actually was.
Oh, it was yours, Frankie.
Yeah.
Dude, the Beach Boys.
Mine was the Beach Boys as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Where was the show?
I used to live in Pennsylvania at a place called, the show was at a place called DeVito Park. Kind of small, but my dad's first concert was the Beach Boys. And then he saw they were coming to town, and I was like right around that age, you could go to a concert and enjoy it, you know. And he wanted to take me, and so that was my first concert too. But yeah, I was like, that was the kind of music I was into, is whatever he was listening to, and he's just a big Beach Boys fan. So
is your dad like a musician of sorts, or is he's just
a music
lover?
A music lover, yeah. He never really got too deep into like any instrument, but you know, had just listening to all his old tapes and records is kind of what my taste in music came from, you know.
I feel like also like for like our generation, or at least me and Frankie, it's like everyone like skateboarded, or like everyone played video games. Like back then it was like everyone had a guitar and would at least try to learn their favorite bands. So
that, I mean, it's still around, but I think it's, at least in that like pure form of just sitting alone and learning guitar or any instrument, is like fading away, because it takes long and it's slow and it's boring at first, but then you got TikTok and it's just perfect. You know what I mean? Everything is shiny and quick. And it's just, I teach piano lessons. That's why I'm saying this. I teach piano lessons to kids, and I'm like, like they have Call of Duty on their phone, and I'm like, look at this white piece of paper with markings on it. Go home for a week and work on this, and then we'll keep doing this for years, and then you can play a song, you know. Like, I don't think it's connecting with,
it's not the instant gratification thing.
Yeah. And maybe some kids are just like born musicians, and that's, you know, and they're all still out there, and there's amazing kid musicians, but like I might have not stuck with piano if I had a cell phone when I was young. You know
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
There's this kid, I forget what his name is, but he's like 7 years old, like using Ableton or like Logic and just making songs. He's so good. He's got like a little stand-up desk.
Yeah.
I'm sure his dad like was like, yeah, you should learn this. He produced or whatever, but it's amazing, you know, like to see this kid do that. But I totally agree that there's so many distractions. I mean, it's also funny. I used to play like a lot of video games, and I feel like there was no MLG. Like you couldn't become an actual professional gamer when I was doing it. So I switched over to music. Yeah. And now you can totally take that path, like be like a streamer. Yeah. So shit's just always changing.
Yeah, and I might have done that if I saw that, you know, I might have got obsessed with that road, you know, but it's just, there was really like, if you didn't have an iPhone and, you know, you couldn't drive, you know, it's just like piano is just like or just any instrument, you know, it's just like a fun thing to do to pass the time.
And just to stick with the teaching really quick, how often do you teach? Because you're very busy.
Yeah, I found a good, like, it's in the middle of the week, and I just do, I was doing Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, but I kind of combined it to Tuesday, Wednesdays, and just, because you're not really gigging Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and even Mondays is like I'm coming home from the Sunday, and I'm just not, like, that's like a come back to life day, you know what I mean? So I found a kind of good rhythm with just putting all my students on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Thursday it's like, oh, get ready because the weekend's coming, and go someplace and play on the weekend.
Do you go home and then teach and then go back normally, or do you stay on tour?
No, I like doing it this way. I mean, sometimes you can't just because the way tours are. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just been go out on the weekends and leave on a Thursday or Friday and then come home either Sunday or Monday. And I need to recharge and I need my bed. You know what I mean? I'm
the homebody.
Yeah. I don't really understand the whole disappear for 3 months on a tour bus. That seems
unless
terrible.
You had a sick tour bus.
Yeah.
If you had a real nice tour bus, it might be different.
That would make a big difference. But still, just being on the road, you know, like, yeah, I don't feel like that I could get used to that. I mean, I would do it just like the love for, like, I would, you know, do it just because if I had to do it and it would help my career and help me, like,
yeah.
I would no problem do it, but it's just like I know that I like to be home. Mm-hmm. You know,
I'm the same way, man. I want to do a little origin story. When did you get into playing piano? You said that was the first thing you started playing, mm-hmm. and let's just kind of go through a progression to like producing, then touring. How did it start?
First grade, 5 or 6 years old. I think that's first grade.
That's weird. That seems young, but I think
yeah. I think I was 6, but yeah, piano lessons from the guy down the road that was, you know, he taught all kinds of instruments, and I stuck with that same guy all the way through high school. So, you know, 11, 12 years of piano lessons from there, and then in college, went for music technology and also took piano lessons there because it was kind of like not like a minor, but it was included in the music technology would be to play an instrument as well. So I took piano lessons for 4 more years there. So it's just kind of, that's always been a thing in my life. So in college, I started getting into producing. But even before that, I was playing in bands and at least using keyboards and different sounds and like, not just like a straight acoustic piano. Like I was learning that synths could make different sounds. Yeah, it's kind of tough
to bring the piano in. It's a little heavy.
Yes.
Even like you think like an upright's like the smallest you can bring?
Yeah, it wouldn't work there. But yeah, I got like my first like electronic keyboard that had like, you know, like those Yamaha ones. They have like 500 sounds on them and you can record and layer things. So that was in whatever, high school or something, and I really loved that. It's like, oh, I can play any instrument now. I'm going to lay down strings, and I'll play a beat on the drums on the keys, you know? So I guess that's kind of where producing began. When I learned that I could use my piano skills to make different types of music than just the straight-up acoustic piano sound.
Yeah, and I feel like when I watch your videos, it's like percussive the way you're playing. Maybe not always when you're playing lush keys or whatever, mm-hmm. but it's like you're kind of smacking the keys.
Yeah, and it's funny. When I'm playing that, I'm recording myself on my iPhone, and then just the sound is just in the computer. So when I go to get the video, you don't hear what I'm hearing, and it's just the raw video, and it sounds like I'm playing the drums because it's going. But I'm smacking the key. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's rhythms that I didn't even realize that I was playing, but it sounds, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it sounds like this really cool drum beat. I was like, wow, I'm like a good drummer. But like if I had sticks, I could never do it, you know? But you're just playing rhythms on buttons, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you were making videos too, and then like when did you get gigs and stuff and start? Because your tour schedule, I was looking at it, at least from what I saw online, till December like 16th or something, there's like 10 or there's a lot of dates in there. Mm-hmm. So you're obviously at a high capacity right now, but obviously you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. So where I grew up in Pennsylvania, the closest like big town is Morgantown, West Virginia. And I don't know if you ever see their football team, West Virginia Mountaineers.
I'm not a big sports fan. And I'm sorry because
It's all good.
I told my friend, I was like, dude, you need to teach me about like sports so I can have conversations with people at a bar because I don't know what to say.
I'm the same way, but that's people don't know Morgantown but might know that college team. That's why I said that.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's like the closest town, and I got in a band in that college town, and we played shows, and I was like up on stage and kind of learning that world. And one of the venues there, the guy that books it, basically runs it, was like knew me from that band. And then during that time is when I like stepped into the world of playing solo set and playing an electronic, set by myself. And I would do it at that venue. And he saw me, and he has like a lot of connects just because so many people came through that venue, and he's got a lot of people's emails and just just years in the business and just learning people. And he was like, let me like be your booking agent. And he's like, let's just like start reaching out with my connects, what you can do. People need to see this. And that was like 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so everything's just been happening real fast.
Wow, that's
and
crazy.
He said, this is Adam Payne, and he said, I want to take you to Red Rocks.
I was literally just gonna say, well, now you played Red Rocks.
Yeah, and he did it.
Dude, wow. So remind me the last podcast. We were talking about it off air. I forget her name, but I just want
Lizzie Jane.
Lizzie Jane. Yo, shout out. Was listening to your episode earlier, and it was before Red Rocks. I think it was like the day before. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to see how that actually ended up going. I saw the recap footage. First of all,
it was a disaster.
Yeah, it was horrible. No, it looked, like from the recap footage, it's like amazing. Went perfect. Like actually it was a disaster.
Yeah.
But I was going to say like the swag, the like zebra coat.
Thanks.
I don't know if we can see this or if Frankie can pull it up.
Thanks,
or anything,
man.
But like, do you have a guy that styles you?
No, that's so funny. No, and that's so outside my comfort zone. Like I really don't dress well. Like that's not like, I am usually t-shirt and jeans. And I was like, this is a big show. I was like, I need to find some cool t-shirt or a cool hoodie, because that's basic. I never really I don't do like layering and things like that very well. I would like to. I don't think I have an eye for it, or at least I think that I look funny or dressed up when I wear. Like I feel like I'm pretending to look like somebody that's fashionable.
I get that. When you're a little too dressed up, you're like, yeah, people are gonna look at me because I'm dressed up, and I don't know if I want that.
Yeah. And I'm not all about like, I like making a statement with my outfit. Like I really don't care about it that much. But like I do understand that there's a part of like showmanship, and you don't want to just like show up and like not look like you care. It's like, it's like, I gotta look nice, and I didn't know what to do. And this is such a funny conversation. It's like my outfit, because I really don't, my outfits, that's always just a big thing. But I was like, oh, they posted the themes of the nights, and like night 1 was Jungle Boogie, and night 2 was like Area 51 is like spacey stuff. I was like, okay, Jungle Boogie is like, so I got to find a t-shirt with like a lizard on it or something, you know what I mean? So I was thinking, I was like, oh wait, black and white, piano, zebra, that kind of,
yeah,
or a tiger stripes, or just one or the other. I was like, that would be something cool. And I just Googled it and found something.
Nice. Bought it online or something.
But
nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Well, also one thing you were saying on the other podcast is that, I mean, you carry a lot of stuff on the road. So, and it's already like very precise what you're carrying. So having a whole wardrobe is an extra thing to bring.
Yeah. It's a lot.
So yeah, that's,
if you have like, it's like the bag that I have my clothes in is also holding my wires. So it's just like, it's not like I have my gear bag and then my, clothes and toiletries in another one. It's just like one big pile that I'm carrying around.
Right.
you know.
So that'd be a lot to take, like a
Yeah.
whole dresser. You're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be ready to go.
But that's what's nice about going out and gigging on the weekends, coming home,
Yeah,
you know, because if I was out for 30 days, then I need, you know, outfits for.
you can go home all sweaty. Doesn't even matter.
Or just wear the same outfit the entire time.
Yeah, that's actually. I mean, like, I'm kind of a savage. I would
Yeah.
do that. I would do that.
Yeah.
But so back to just like how that went. I mean, it looked pretty full. Like it looked like you were having a lot of fun. It's a big stage. Like, I from what I saw, it looks like you brought the energy.
It was a great time. I was more nervous than I had ever been for any show. And it wasn't even so much as like the big stage. It was more like, please don't let there be any technical difficulties. Like, please let me have this. Because I was like, that is just, if you're up on like a smaller stage and the music cuts and then the party goes, oh, and everybody laughs and keeps on talking, it's one thing.
To
but
get them back to
yeah, just, you know, just, I mean, people can understand, and then so they'll walk over to the bar
Right,
and
right.
forget it and keep talking. But like, something about Red Rocks is just like everyone watching you, you know, there's just hyper focus on you, you know what I mean? Huge venue spotlight, you know. I was just like, I would have a really hard time going, sorry everybody, give me 1 minute here, and like messing with my computer. That would
the pressure. You'd be like, oh god.
that would kill me. But it went smoothly. That's probably why I look so happy. I was like, it's going great.
Everything's working.
Yeah. Not that things really go wrong a lot, but there's a lot of chances for things to go wrong, like pinwheel death on the MacBook or something.
Yeah,
You know
your
what I mean?
CPU's like,
Yeah.
nope.
Or just like something that I like, okay, the top keyboard doesn't come on, which it always comes on every time, but just like that would be my fear. It's like, okay, what do I do? I can't play this show without my keyboard. Like, I was thinking, like, what if, you know, just like going extra stress on it, just like you can't just stop the show.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and your thing is pretty calculated. You know what I mean? So yeah, not having your keyboard would be.
Yeah.
I
nothing
legit
can do.
can't play. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think another thing was that's been like the bucket list, and it was this
Dude,
thing.
so many people that come on the show, I'll ask them like, what's their dream venue or something. Red Rocks every single time.
I think it's like, it's a meaningful thing, and it, like, when you're there on stage, it's like, wow, I did it. That kind of like, it's a heavy, it's a big thing. But in my head, it was always like this shining, you know, and it's just like, to think about it for years and then for it to not go right, like that would, you know what I mean? Like, to think about something for so long versus like, hey, you have a gig next month here, you don't even get that kind of build up. There was just so much tension building up to that moment. That I think it just made it much more, I could have relaxed so much more, you know. But I was just like, I've been thinking about it for so long. Like, if I said something big was coming in 3 years for you, you know,
I'd be like stressed. Yeah, no,
for
I would
every
not
day,
do well with that.
you know. But if I told you 3 days ahead, it's just like, it wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah, for sure. And you're progressing throughout that whole thing. So it, like, when the moment comes, you're like, oh yeah, I'm killing it out here. Like, this is, I mean, that's my perspective of it. Like, you know, you're ready for that moment. But yeah, I mean, does it feel weird to have crossed that off your bucket list and you're kind of now trying to like, what's the next thing?
A little bit. I thought a little bit I would be like upset. It's like, oh, it's over. But really, you just kind of, I mean, this is what people do. It just, you kind of just sink into whatever is going on. So like, I did that, and now it's like, oh, the next thing. And it's like, I'm like not so stressed because I'm glad it happened. I'm glad that I can say I did it, you know what I mean? But it's like, now it's like, okay, you got to go to Chicago this weekend. And it's not even like a, you know what I mean?
There's no break. Yeah.
Right. It really, there is something important to do next. And so I try to give myself some time to just relax and enjoy it. But like, you really can't just be like, I did it, and hang up your coat. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep moving. But it is nice to know that it's just like, you know, I did it. You know, to cross something off like that feels good.
Totally. I was thinking we could sometimes we play music on the show. I'm in a weird place with music because copyright on YouTube doesn't allow a lot of it.
Sure.
But, I have ways to get around that. But I was thinking we could play a track just so people could get a taste of it, whether or not it's like just part of it. And if you want to hear the music in this episode, check out the link in the description below. How did that kind of come to be? How did the collaboration happen?
This is most of my collabs is I play the melody or any melodic elements of the song on the keys, because I think I do that a lot better than like kicks and snares and FX and all that extra stuff. It's just like that seems to be more dialed in for a producer that's their big instrument, you know what I mean? Just like, well, I have something I can offer that is harder for them to get, and that is original ideas laid out on keys, and not just one file, but like here's the strings, here's piano, here's some organ, you know what I mean? So I usually reach out to producers and be like, hey, I have this, and here's the MIDI, and here's the waves.
Nice. He provides the MIDI.
That
is MIDI. Nice. That's helpful.
I do provide the MIDI. Yeah, but it's just like, so, and I'm always like, do whatever you want with it. Here's an idea, make it about a minute long, so you don't give them this like finished idea, you know what I mean? So it's not like here's my song, you want to put the drums on it,
add some percussion or something.
Yeah, but then but that's usually how it works out. It's just like that's why I like collabs so much, because it's like I can do what I do best, and that I don't have to go picking samples out very much. Things like that come out. I did that with several artists.
Speaking of several artists, you have opened for a lot of really big name acts. Like, I was looking at your Spotify, Grizz, Galantis, Big G. Big G was for the Red Rocks thing, right?
I did a couple shows with them, but yeah, the Red Rocks is like the biggest one I've done with them. Yeah,
that was the big one. Yeah. And then like OK, Ill Gates, Fox Stevenson, like that. Those are some heavy hitters. And I also saw that the first time you did your like live thing was at what's it called, Brownies and Lemonade, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, just kind of wanted to get some backstory on that, and just like how that first experience doing your solo project was.
Yeah. I would say I was not ready.
Really?
It was too early in the career, and I was making video. Everyone would say it went fine, you know what I mean? But I look back, I'm like, I cannot believe that there was probably 1,000 people there. That is not where you want to premiere your live set, you know?
Were there technical difficulties?
No, I didn't understand anything about a live show. There were silences between songs. Like, the songs weren't anything that I would do today. Like, I had a fraction of what my show is now. And it went well, and people were like, oh, that's cool, you know what I mean? But it's just like that was a result of growing online and not in real life. And I was like, look what I do online, but yeah, I'm not saying it didn't go well, but I just, looking back, I was like, I needed about 3 years of shows before I'd be playing to 1,000 people.
Do you think that kind of just like got your feet wet real quick though, and like maybe just
it might have
done the springboarding effect? Like,
yeah, I mean, to see 1,000 people,
that would scare me.
Yeah,
that would worry me.
But maybe it put something in my head. But yeah, it was really, yeah. I didn't realize that the show wasn't what I would want it to be, because I was just like, oh, I did a show, But I look back, I'm like, I can't believe I was doing that, And it's just, that would be a big show for me now. You know what I mean? But yeah, but I'm glad it happened, and it probably did spark something in me. Like, I want more of that,
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna come back more prepared and like dial it in.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You were talking about the social media aspect that kind of like got you that, because you said that you were maybe more growing on like social media, and then that's what allowed. It's not like you were gigging as much that landed you the gig. It was more the social presence, correct?
Yeah, and getting artist shout outs, like I was like, that was how I presented it to Brownie and Lemonade. I was like, look, I have these artists telling me how cool my videos
tweeting
are.
and dude, that's actually something I wanted to get into, because it's whether or not it was intentional, it's pretty genius in the sense that like you do your version, cover, whatever of their song, that there's a good chance these people are gonna see it and either they're gonna like it or not. And I mean, I saw on your page there's like a lot of shout outs from big name artists that are like, dude, this arrangement from Jason is crazy, like go like, yeah. I mean, just a couple questions, like how did that help you, like from specific, were there any specific ones where it's like, wow, that really helped me? I saw Zed's Dead shout you out, like, yeah, was that intentional to get the feedback? I don't know, I'm just curious.
Yeah, there's like, you can actually like follow a trail to like looking back,
the breadcrumb trail.
So it went make keyboard videos, and then I got into EDM, so then I started playing EDM and dubstep stuff on keyboards. Or when I got into it 9 years ago, trap was the big thing.
Still love that.
Me too.
I still love the trap.
Me too. Yeah. It's coming back.
It's coming back, yeah.
It'll be back. But I did a trap like mix, like a 5-minute mix of all my favorite trap songs, and played it on keyboards. And I posted it on, there's a subreddit called Art Trap. And it got the most attention I've ever had anything get online. And in that mix, I played a Nightmare track, Street, and I played it on the piano. Somebody from Nightmare's team saw it, said, hey, can we use that clip? And we'll put it on Nightmare's socials. And I said, let me just make you a nice little 1-minute Street, like separate, instead of clipping the video. I was like, I'm just going to play it and I'll give it to you guys. I gave it to them. And this is early on. I haven't played a show yet. Now Nightmare on his page, and he's showing all his fans. Yeah. And it's getting all those likes and all the dopamines going. And I'm like, oh, like I have a secret way in.
Yeah. I can, the back door.
Yes. Yeah. And like how to get on. I was like, that was one. And then I was like, let me try somebody else. And I took that video. I was like, I reached out to Alice in Wonderland's management. I was like, I did this for Nightmare. Can I do one for her? Like if she,
you got the Nightmare cosign,
right? And that's then
helpful. Yeah.
And then it was a 1-2. Like the next week, I made one, and they said yes. And now the next week, I was on hers, and now all her fans saw me, and I was like, I could just do this forever.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean? I was thinking about it. I was like, that's kind of genius.
Yeah, but like. I did it for a long time, and I probably done it like 20 times, like probably have like 20 different videos on different artists' pages. And that really helped me grow, and just like got people to look at me, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, if they're that fan or that fan, then they start seeing my channel. And then then I was like, okay, I got this down. I need to take this to the stage, because otherwise it's just going to be this, and I will keep doing that because I like how it feels, and I'm just, it's
fun to do.
Yeah. And I would just disappear in that forever. But then that's when that was the biggest hurdle, I think, is bringing it to the stage, because it wasn't a 2-minute 1-song video that I did alone in my room. It had to be like a nice mix, sound like a
fully
DJ.
Fleshed out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I feel like I do want to talk about the live setup a little bit. I know that this was touched on in other conversations, but just to break down kind of what you bring on stage, what do we got going on?
All right. So the three tier keyboard setup with a stand that is like telescopic. Is that the word, where it folds?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that is called a Spider Pro stand, but it has 3 tiers. And I got my Yamaha piano on the bottom, and that one stays piano.
And that one has like weighted keys.
Right.
Does it go? I was watching the videos and it's like weighted. The next one, it looks semi-weighted, and then there's like the top one feels like it's like just flips right back up.
That is there's actually a word for that. Hammer graded, I forget. Do you know that?
Yeah.
But the
Hammer graded, maybe we look it up.
on a acoustic piano, the lower keys are heavier.
Oh, really?
And they feel they're a little bit, not a lot, but like there's just more weight to them to push down versus the top ones. And they actually try to replicate that on a keyboard, and that's when they like, this is weighted keys, hammer graded, you know what I mean? So yeah, the bottom ones do have a little more push to them.
And that's where you play like piano.
Keep it piano, yeah. And that's always like that's a signature sound or whatever you want to put into a song, So that's basic, and it's just audio out of that, just a stock piano sound out of it. And so that's always the bottom. And then, the top one is also a Yamaha, that blue one. And I also use the stock sounds out of that. And it's good for orchestral instruments like flutes and bells and strings and some pads. But basically, like if I need to add some, extra melodies, nothing too heavy with synths on that one. And then the middle one is just a MIDI controller, and it doesn't have sounds built into it. I'm just running MIDI out. And then I have my computer right here with MainStage, and that's
I heard you talking about MainStage. Who makes that, and
Apple.
what does it do?
Apple
makes it,
right?
Okay.
And if you know Logic, you can do MainStage because it looks exactly the same.
Gotcha.
But MainStage is like Logic Live. You know what I mean?
I think what's that wild guy's name who just like goes out in a park and like live streams? Rebele?
Yeah.
Mark. I think he uses that because I've seen it and it looks like Logic. And I'm like, dude, there's so many good sounds in there. Like,
but it's not. The good sounds aren't MainStage. MainStage just organizes. But like I have Serum and Massive and
okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like you buy sounds for MainStage. MainStage is just like holds it and puts it in an order.
Is it a DAW or no? It's just where you can.
No, I don't think it would be considered a DAW. It's just for live.
Okay.
And it's lining up, customize. It just make a patch. What do you want this patch to be? I want it to be a Serum bass. I'm gonna EQ it. All right, I'll call this Wub. All right, new patch.
Gotcha.
This is a Screech, you know what I mean? I'll make it in Massive, and then then they're all lined up in a row. So as the set plays, I have all my drops, different sounds ready to go.
Okay.
And then the piano is this kind of filler, and then the top one for building, or it has a really good guitar on it too. So I'll like solo some guitar on it, but like basically it's not that like I'm not going to build up a drop and then play just the blue or bottom keyboard. The heavy bass is the middle.
Gotcha. When do you switch to the keytar? The keytar is just such a funny instrument. It's so 80s.
Everyone loves that one.
It's sick. Yeah, it's swag. You can stand up, swag with it.
I always save it for the end because it's like I don't know. That's at least where I'm at with it now. It's harder for me to play. I'm not as good on it as I am just a keyboard, just because my hands are now different.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to that. So I really can't play as well on it as I can. I'm getting better at it, but like the middle keyboard or anything. But I save it for the end because then it's just like the last 2 minutes of the show, because then it's just like this crazy new thing. Like, what is that?
Just getting it out.
And then it's like a big kind of, I need that climactic, ending. And I was like, what song could be my ending? I was like, oh, I need to make it like this totally new thing comes out. And I usually end with that. And then I just say, good night. And it's just like, it leaves them on a high note,
Yeah, for sure. I'm like very curious about like where the keytar came from. Do we know any lineage of it? Like, did it come out in the 80s?
That was invented by John Keytar.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I think it was the 80s.
Maybe, yes.
Frank, are we pulling up like a
History
Wikipedia?
There can't be a a nerdier subject than the history of the keytar.
Dude, I want to know. I was thinking about it today.
Ooey.
What?
The history of the ooey.
What's a ooey?
Say what plays it. It's an electronic.
Oh, yeah.
reed instrument.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. It's like, and then you can load sounds onto it and stuff.
Saxophone and clarinet and bass sounds even.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's sick. Ooey. It's also just a fun name.
Ooey.
Yeah, I got the ooey.
The Orphica
Oh, yeah. Let's.
is where it started. It's from Vienna. Guess what year?
72.
43.
So off.
Wow.
1795.
Wait, what? How was it amplified?
So I don't think that I think that that's it says it's the oldest forerunner of the keytar.
It's like the
Orphica,
prototype.
or the-
Oh,
Yeah.
it would probably be like a piano, but you hold it.
yeah.
But that must have been heavy.
Yeah.
Like,
The people in the 1700s actually had
Well, think about
pianos.
Think about an accordion as well, though.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. But did it still have like the hammer and stuff?
I'm gonna check it out here. We'll
Okay,
take a
okay.
look.
I want to see the acoustic guitar.
Oh, this thing looks really cool. It's an acoustic keytar. It's
Ooh.
like
That
it's got
makes sense.
piano strings
Right.
on it.
I
So
can
it kind
see
of looks
it.
like a harp with a little piano key bed on it.
It's really
Ooh.
cool.
It's really cool looking.
See, this might have been a good rabbit hole. I don't know.
1700.
Maybe you need one of those for your
Dude, you might have to get one of those.
I need another box to get through the airport with this thing.
Actually, that's a good transition to the box because I just thought it was so cool to hear about
Licking the box.
your dad made you a case so it could stay under the weight limit to travel with it. And then
Yeah.
you also talked about how like got to get that like media pass to
Yeah.
travel with it for cheaper.
Yeah.
There's some,
There's a,
you had to figure it out. But
yeah. If I had any more equipment, it wouldn't work out. But it's just like just enough that I could carry. But yeah, instead of carrying 4 separate boxes and getting charged for 4 bags, I was like, I need to get it in one. But they don't make a 4 keyboard case.
Mhm.
But yeah, my dad's a handyman. He knows what to
Is
do.
he handy? What does he do?
He's retired, but he was an appliance repairman, and
Oh.
he just could fix anything.
You know.
And he grew up on a farm, so he had all that extra. He could, I don't know, just like if the plumbing goes out, he knows what to do. Like if my plumbing
Yeah.
goes out,
No,
you know what I mean?
we're all fucked.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
but like any, like he built the house that I grew up in. Like if you can build a house, you know what I mean? It's like any problem that arises pretty much solved. So when I was like, I need a case. If he can build a room, he could, build a case.
Dude, this is a kind of tangent as well, but I do enjoy tangents on this show. I was listening, so I went to go see Polyphia last night, and they fucking shred.
I bet.
And then I went on to like a Tim Henson. He's like the guitarist, the face of the band,
Mhm.
and he was talking to this guy Rick Beato about how like the future is gonna be like right now it's like producers find presets and they make sounds and they sample stuff.
Mhm.
But in the future, it's going to be like who can prompt the best, like who can write the best prompt to make art out of. And I just talking about what your dad knows, like the practical skills is like, are we just going to not know anything?
It seems like it's going that way.
Is that what's because think about how many people already don't know how their computer works. I know how my computer works,
Yeah.
kinda. You know what I mean? Like, kinda well. So I don't know. It's just,
I wouldn't even say I know kind of well. It just seems like magic to me.
yeah. You're like, oh, okay. It's
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
running good today.
I mean, yeah, technologies. I've just honed all attention on music, and like that's pretty much it. So everything else to me is just a miracle. Like
Yeah.
the world is insane.
Yeah.
I get it though. Like I'm like if I bet there's people that are obsessed with me about what I'm doing, or there are people as obsessed with me what I'm doing, but with microwaves. And they're like, how can I make the best microwave? Like, what, the door needs to, and they get super technical with that. And that is why we have good microwaves. You know what I mean? But like, and there's just so many people, and everybody's kind of doing that.
I think the microwave dinger is going off. That's funny. My
Yeah.
girlfriend's cooking
A
right
little
now.
synchronicity
Yeah.
there. I hear it. That's funny. Ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that somebody chose that sound and they're like, that sounds a little flat, let's go with that one. You know what I mean? Somebody's like really obsessed over like the sound of just that, and like that's what we see everywhere. You know, somebody cared about that cup. Somebody like made that candle with love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the world, at least. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Like, people are getting too obsessed with things that won't work if you're stuck in the woods.
There's too many layers that if like we went backward, it would be like no one knows.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's one of my fears.
Oh,
but
yeah.
also another thing I was thinking about is I feel like what you're doing with the live performance is not gonna go away in the same way that production might go away. Not away, but like that it is going to be more impacted by generative art stuff, because, and we don't have to like be on this AI thing for too long, but it's just, it's easier to generate something than for someone to go on stage and do this production. And, you know, that's the connection. It's that a person is doing that.
Yeah, I think that'll always be there.
Yeah.
People still like, you know, like a human playing an instrument makes small mistakes, and that's actually what producers try to put in their songs. They try to swing it,
get it off the grid a little.
Yeah, you can't. People don't like that perfect. You know what I mean? So that's like within us, but this like AI thing is it's I'm incorporating it with what I'm doing. I'm not really like, not like I'm safe from it. I'm like using it and like including it into what I'm doing, but it's still being funneled through me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel that. I just think if you watched whatever, like something that was mechanical make like a crazy arpeggio or like something really technical, you'd just be like, yeah, I mean, it was made to do that.
Yeah.
But humans, it's like, oh, wow, that's actually impressive. You know how long it took to figure out and practice to do that?
And there's also this tightrope walk that performers do. Like, there's a little bit of nervousness that the audience is like, are they going to mess up?
Yeah.
Versus like somebody with a computer or a robot, you know, playing this amazing, perfect riff. Or even if they programmed human mistakes within the robot to, you know, make it sound more
still
human.
Programmed,
But it's like there is this something where it's like, I think that's what kind of clicks with my shows too. It's just like, I am pretty close to messing up at all times, because like I'm looking at main stage, I'm like, I'm doing this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I'll make mistakes, and you can hear me up there just screaming at myself. But like, if I land the trick, you know, it feels good, and people like to see you take a risk, and then you know, sometimes you fall, sometimes you make it, but that is interesting in itself to watch something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I am so interesting. I am just the most interesting person in the world.
I get it though. Yeah. And that's why sometimes I feel like, you know, you go to like EDC and watch the main stage, and it's like, that's mostly pre-programmed.
Yeah.
And it's about the like energy of it.
Yeah.
But
I will never like, people, I'll get comments, people are like, DJs wish they could. I don't even know how to DJ, so I can't even begin to hate, but like, I that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I love that stuff so much. And even if it is pre-programmed, yeah, it's a little corny if they're faking faking like they're doing a lot, like, but still is like the spectacle of an EDC set.
Right.
It's like amazing.
At the end of the day, if it's cool, like if you're having a good time, kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But it's just wild. I'm too on the AI stuff.
It's okay. But it is fun for me too. It keeps it interesting for me personally, because I might mess up. Versus if I was just up there and I just was hitting play and pretending to play the keyboards, then it's just like, I think I wouldn't look forward to shows. Like there's that tension of just like, am I going to make it? Is it going to work? That keeps this thing, makes me want to keep chasing it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to talk a little bit more tour life stuff, because it is, it's tough. But I was wondering, are you, when you go on your tour, I know you go back home, but are there these weird, like fun, happy accidents that happen? Like obviously this was kind of not planned, slightly planned. And, do you find that there are some moments of sweetness that like being on tour that you're just like, oh, nice, I got to go to Disney World or something like
that? Well, that's what I thought it would be like, is like, oh, I'm in, this city. I'm going to go to this favorite restaurant and this landmark, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But really, you arrive there tired, and then you have sound check, and then there's a 2-hour period in there. It's like, well, I'm gonna go check into the hotel, and they're like, all right, I'll get a bite to eat. Well, they have food for me there at the venue. I could save money if I did that. And you just end up like I'll go to cities and then not do very much in it. Like what the most I can do, and what I try to do, is hit the cool restaurant, the locals' favorite, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's really, you're not like sightseeing, because things happen so fast. Like if you're there, it's just like sound checking, hotel, eat. All right, now the doors are open. What are you gonna do? Drive an hour away? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, luckily this was very close to where you're performing, so it worked out.
Well, I play so late tonight, so
it kind of works.
It's far away.
Yeah, we'll just kick it. I was wondering kind of like favorite moments on tour. Like I know Red Rocks is a huge, amazing moment, but what else was cool?
Making friends in these cities and meeting people and staying connected wasn't something I thought would continue or happen. I mean, I'm kind of to myself. I'm a little antisocial, but I've just made so many friends, like just people like hanging out after the show talking. Like when I go back in that city, now we already have that hangout time and we can do it again, or they can take me to this spot that they think's cool. I think I didn't see relationships with people within these cities as part of this, because I was kind of looking at it as work. You know what I mean? But like, there is, I'll be like, I'll have some show in St. Louis and I'm like, yeah, that's but like I would never see unless I'm in St. Louis, but like I'm never going to go to St. Louis unless I have a gig there. You know what I mean? But I was like, oh, I'm playing in St. Louis. That's where I know that person. And that person hits me up and like, yo, you're going to be in St. Louis. And then, we'll get a bite to eat or something. And I love that. And I just love meeting people from different places, because we're all pretty much the same too. There's a different vibe with the cities, but you kind of get a feel of like, yeah, maybe it makes me feel like a sense of like connection or something.
Yeah, everyone's trying to like just make connections at the end of the day. Yeah. Are these mostly musicians that you're? No,
just people at the show.
Just homies.
I'm really like, I don't do a lot of, unless I'm really like, I need time to myself. I hang out in the crowd. Like I get too nervous before a set to sit alone in a quiet room.
In the green room and just chill.
That's where the nerves really, So like, I'm like, I know, here's like, I grew up just out in the crowd. I'm, comfortable out there. And then you're also talking to people and they're like, I love your videos. And you can, talk to them that way and, connect with fans and connect with people. But that's usually what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like just meeting people at these shows.
Yeah, like all walks of life.
Yeah.
That's cool. Going to the videos real quick, because this just popped in my head. It was something I wanted to ask about. Like, it's funny, you'll see an artist on one platform and they'll be like doing really well on like TikTok or something. And then you check out their Spotify or whatever, and it's like, oh, substantially less people follow or listen to your music. And it's kind of a two-part question. One is, do you focus on any platform more so than the other? And also, how do you feel like they cross over, they like cross-pollinate? Like, what's kind of the best way to cross-pollinate and get someone from TikTok to actually then go listen to your music?
Well, Facebook was my first. That's like the old people platform now, but Facebook is where I started.
Yeah, and Facebook it's kind of nice. You have like a link tree, but it's like a better link tree. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this is like, I need to upgrade.
Fancy,
yeah.
But Facebook is nice because you can actually have links and events and stuff. I wish it was the big platform because it's the most, for like business wise, like, you know, like on Instagram, you can't even put like links in the comments or anything like that.
It's kind of jank. I don't know what's up with that.
That makes it, I'm sure they do that on purpose to keep you in Instagram. But as far as just like, I'm trying to run a business here, Facebook seems better. But now it's for old people and it's uncool.
I think it's kind of slightly coming back. Like I've been hearing more people telling me like, oh, I'm kind of like back on Facebook a little bit. I'm like, no.
That's where I have the most followers. Yeah. And then Instagram is kind of where it's been at. And that's where, I guess for musicians, it's the most focus. But now I'm seeing that TikTok is actually the better place for musicians. But TikTok, there's this weird vibe where you can just post like the dumbest, shortest videos. And it's not this like sacred Instagram wall where every post is like, all right, here comes the post. People will just take their phone, like say something and put it back down. And that's a post on TikTok. And I'm trying to get used to talking to the camera. You know,
I feel like you're good at it though. Like I was watching your stuff and it's just like
it's hard.
You're very persistent at plugging like, oh, I have this show coming up, and you know, like saying it with a smile, and like it sounds tiring.
You know, there's anytime I'm talking, it's a video of me talking to the camera saying that is not just off the cuff. That is like many tries to get it right. I just have a hard time. I play keyboards better than talking. So I was just like, that's a hard part for me. But yeah, but like there is something about, I found this out with TikTok and Instagram is they like when you use their features.
They do, like so their editor or whatever.
Yeah, if you use their editor, I think they push a little bit more because they're like, you're utilizing them. But the reply to comments has been like my most successful.
Oh yeah, getting in there and talking to people.
No, like a comment. If you post a reel or a TikTok, you can, and somebody says something, you can reply, and then you can make a video and the quote of what the person said. You ever see those?
Yeah.
Like that platform likes when you do that, and they push those videos more. So like when everyone says like, "I'll see you in Chicago," like it's a perfect opportunity to, instead of just saying "see you there," it's a perfect opportunity to just make a 10-second video. Yeah, can't wait. Chicago, if you guys didn't hear about it, that, you know what I mean?
So does that help the initial video that you post, or does it help?
I think it does. I think it drives. And I think anybody that's liked that initial video, then that will pop up. Maybe not always, but I think there is some kind of connection there.
Yeah.
But there's a way, and like I'll look at TikTok and I see how people use it, and it's definitely not, it's just really much more relaxed. And I think that that's where everyone's moving for that reason, because people can't stand this, like the seriousness of
Instagram does feel serious. You're right. It's like
it feels in that it feels outdated because it's just like people don't stress out on posts. Like you don't need to do that. You know what I mean? I still do it. You know what I mean?
do it. Yeah.
But like it's okay. We can you know.
Yeah, TikTok definitely has more of that Vine energy where it's like it's mostly just about fun stuff. It's not about serious like I'm playing this show.
Yeah.
And like this is the flyer.
Yeah,
and
nobody like, and that's like, you know, the new generation, if it's an ad, it's like done.
I've noticed that. Yeah, if your stuff looks too ad like, which can look really polished. I've even noticed, and now we're just getting down the technical realm of like social media stuff, and who knows, it'll change. But like I've even noticed that if you put a thumbnail that isn't just like some random bit of the video, it feels like it doesn't do as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like my shit to look polished.
The show flyer like has to go on. It can't be killed because it's all your information. You need to know the address and the time and the date and who's going to be there.
Right.
You know, instead of making a 30-second video explaining each aspect of it.
Mhm.
But it's people are just hit with those ads all day,
Mhm.
and then they're just going to pass over yours. And that's why people will be like, when they announce a huge show, the front of the picture will be them just like in a bathroom selfie, and then the next one is playing Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because it's just like, it needs to, you got to get their attention with, hey, I'm just chilling. And then also, look, I have a serious ad over on this side.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to do, but it's so silly. It's just like, get their attention with not caring and doing just a, you know, a meme picture, and then put the ad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole science to that. It's a pretty I mean, it's kind of interesting because it's, how do humans think? And when we've reached this, we're awake now to a point of, I don't want to be sold things. Like,
Right.
don't make me feel like you're selling me something. Like, show me some kind of human connection. Like, don't throw this ad in my face right now.
The authenticity thing.
Yeah, and that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder instead of just sticking up a flyer and being like,
I struggle with it though, because it's like, I kind of like the mystique or like mysteriousness of the artists that you don't see every morsel of their everyday life or
That's true.
something. So I'm kind of hoping that the pendulum swings the other way. But
I remember thinking, I want to be the mysterious, you know, like that's all you see is my art.
yeah,
You know,
like
just-
my bio is just high.
yeah,
Or something like,
and like
yeah.
that's just anything that I put out is going to be my video. It's just gonna be, I'm not gonna be like this. But then you're gonna get lost in you'll be like, I'm an artist, and just like, you know, get lost in this crowd of people doing it the other way. So you kind of have to adapt. You don't have to, but it certainly helps.
Yeah. No, you kind of have to.
But there are artists out there that are mysterious, like
It's
how.
one way up the mountain.
Yes,
A good way up the mountain.
Yeah.
Tried and true.
it certainly.
yeah, it's got the path
it
already.
helps in your favor. But
Yeah.
there are artists that like just have 3 posts on Instagram, and people are like, what is this? And maybe their
Yeah.
art is so, like, there are musicians that make such good songs that they don't need to post bathroom selfies.
For sure.
Like, that's actually the coolest place to be.
I feel like you can do that once you kind of have the people following. You can like just delete everything and be like, this is the stuff I actually want you to care about.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people do that.
Yeah. There's just on this topic, a funny thing with videos when I make them is I make them short now to stay. If you post a 5-minute video, no one's going to watch it. No one's going to sit on Facebook for 5 minutes and watch a video, or Instagram, you know?
Yeah.
So they got to be quick. And if even they cut reels on Instagram to be a minute and a half, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be a minute and a half, can't go longer.
Yeah.
And then a lot of comments are, we want the full thing. We want to hear the whole, like, why is it cut so short? It's like, you wouldn't have seen it if I did make it a full thing, or you wouldn't have watched some people would, but like, it wouldn't make it to your phone if I posted a 5-minute video, because the reason you're seeing this right now is because it's short. So there has to be a balance where I do make some like full length things, but like, it's like, this is why the reason that you're even seeing this video is because of its short, you know?
Yeah, you kind of got to hit all the bases, like with the podcast. It's like, we did a podcast the other day and it was like 2 hours and 20 minutes. That will be edited down, but still, it's a super long form. And there's the other end of it where people love that. And maybe it's for a specific thing where like you sit down with someone for an hour and a half, and you actually pick up on the cues where it's like, I kind of know how this person thinks. With 1 minute or 40, whatever, however long, you don't know.
Yeah.
You just know like that this was a fun thing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I get it. You got to hit, like, I have like the full form video, clips of the video that are like 8 minutes, and then like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
but yeah,
hopefully that like strings.
but there is that. Yeah. I mean, podcasts are a thing. People like to listen to long things, you know, but I think just in the world I'm in of videos, and like, it's just like, people are just right here and they want the quick dopamine hit, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, if I'm gonna use my videos as a promotional tool for my
For sure.
music.
Oh yeah.
It's like, why not play the game that's, you know, in place? Kind of gross, but it's working.
I get it. I like it though. Sometimes the clips are
do.
actually like great, and it's like, this is fantastic.
I also very much enjoy the art of making a 90-second song.
Yeah.
And trying to fit it in. Like there's this thing. It's like, all right, I want to do all these things. It's almost like why people like Twitter, because they forces you to keep it that short. Like I'm learning, how can I make this sound like it's not just this clip? Like how can I make, and then now there's this new thing I'm learning. It's like, how can I make it have a build and die down and build, but keep it moving in 90 seconds and keep it snappy.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a different art form. I enjoy it as well. I'm not trying to just bash like what we got to do as artists. It's annoying. It's like, it's just a new medium.
Yeah.
You know? I was thinking we could listen to another track. And if you want to hear the music in this episode, check out the link in the description below. I wanted to ask you just real quick about like the sound selection. Is like that synth, like where do you get that?
That is a synth I tweaked. It was already a preset, but it's something in Massive. I've changed the name since, but it's just like it was a guitar sounding synth. And I just went through and I tweaked it to sound the way I wanted it to. And then I just like saved it that way, and it feels the best under my fingers. And it's this sound that, it's so funny because Massive, it's like the old version of Massive. It's not like this newest sound, but I haven't ran into a synth like this anywhere else. And it's unpredictable in that it kind of like, can you tell that it like distorts and growls, but not like, it feels like a guitar's feedback.
It's not as linear. Like,
yeah, I can't, like, I don't know what it's going to do when I'm playing it. And the mod wheel makes it like,
feels kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to like balance this thing, and the mod wheel will make it like, I don't even know what it does, but the mod wheel like crunches it, and then it'll kind of like suck it down, and then I can pull it back up. But it's like that versus a lot of synths are like, I know what it's going to do and I have complete control. But in that, like, I don't have control over it, like brings out such crazy sounds.
Like some happy accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I wanted to ask also about like who are artists that inspire you right now, and then also going back to maybe just the start of your career.
Well, like my big one is Pink Floyd. That's like the changed my perspective on music. And those albums, like, I always like that run of albums they did in the 70s. They did Dark Side, Wish You Were Here, Animals, and then The Wall.
The Wall, yeah.
They did that in under 10 years. Like, they did that in the 70s. And I was just like, that's like my 4 favorite albums. Like, that's just insane to me that they did that. I think it's the greatest feat ever pulled in music. And I just got really obsessed over Pink Floyd for a long time. So I have to say they're probably my favorite. And that just their use of synths and epicness. The Wall is this rock opera, you know what I mean? I really like it. I really like them. But yeah, that's old school. And like classic rock, dad rock.
Some yacht rock in there. I love the yacht rock genre.
Yeah, my dad is more into like that's what I say. I'm like listening to his tapes and stuff. But you know, he liked, you know, Zeppelin and the Who, and
my
Deep
dad
Purple.
And your dad are similar.
Yeah.
He's also the same way.
And then like those old classic rock bands had like Deep Purple had organs and like crunchy, you know, mean sounding. Like I always liked that. But yeah, new producers and music. I just think I think Porter Robinson is something special.
Yeah.
What he's doing like with electronic music. For trap, I was all into RL Grime and
dude,
you know,
those Halloween mixtapes.
Yeah, that was like that's what really captivated me.
He's killing it still. Like, yeah, my buddy who like literally only like he loves listening to live concerts and stuff. He was just over showing me some stuff, and I was like, "Damn, I slept on this."
Yeah.
Like he's still,
and he has a great vision like for what he wants it to look like. So yeah, but yeah, just that old trap stuff really got me into it, because trap stuff is so much more fun to me than anything is going on as a keyboardist. Is what I'm doing, is because they were big bassy 808s on the bottom and then fun melody on the top.
Yeah.
And now it's becoming this droning one note.
Yeah.
Or screek, you know what I mean? But you listen to, like, songs were silly, and you maybe can't be silly all the time, and some of them do sound dated, but that's what got my brain firing, because I'd be like, I can play that melody. If I just had the drums and everything, but that melody was taken out, I could play that. I know what those notes are. Mm-hmm. But you can't really do that with a lot of like this, like when it's just like a rhythm 2-note growl, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's why I wish like the trap music is like, I got into it because of that. Like that's what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to play that type of songs on there. But they do kind of sound, you know, a little clubby. You listen to like 2012 trap.
I still love it. It's like,
oh, I love it too. But it's just like, I can understand why people have evolved to, you know, a different level. But I wish that they could take that sound, and some people still are doing it, but, you know, use it in today's.
I feel like trap beats are very versatile too. Like there's so many different genres within, because at the end of the day, it's kind of just like hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be like the typical trap, but it also doesn't have to be like boom bap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can just be this great beat
that
just bangs. It's kind of the meta in some senses of just like break beat. It's not actually. Now I'm going to get flamed because people are going to be like, do breaks? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I really think there's so many different styles, and it's all about your sound selection. Mm-hmm. Like if your snare is like clunky or just more straight, like almost like a clap or something, you know what I mean? It's just, there's a lot to play with there.
Agreed.
You know, in the start of the show, I asked you what your first concert was, but now I want to ask, what was your favorite, most game-changing, like, concert you saw that maybe was unexpected? Maybe you were just like, I don't know, something.
Man, there was a reason. I've been to a lot of shows and kind of gotten used to shows, and I think that's why.
A little jaded.
Right, and I think that's why this one was so special, because I've been to shows that I was like, I saw the Eagles, you know, it's just like,
nice.
that's you know, insane. But this year, Daily Bread.
Oh, was this at North Coast?
No, it was up in Alaska for that Sacred Acre festival.
Oh, cool.
And it made me just like fall in love with music. Like he's made a sound. The set sounded like one thing, and not in a bad way. I mean, like he has it's like you're inside his brain. You know what I mean? It's not, he figured it out exactly what he wants to do. But, yeah, that set made me just be like,
what are kind of the subjective or maybe objective things about that set that he was doing that kind of got your attention like that?
He uses a palette, and he sounds, listen to it like a mix on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
You'll hear a sound in the first 10 seconds of a wub, and he incorporates that wub throughout the entire mix in different ways, and it doesn't get old. I'm in this TikTok-y thing where I have to be like, now look at this, now look at this, now look at this, you know, now it's different, and like, you know, but it's just like I haven't seen it really before, but there are just it's almost like there's 20 sounds that he has. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's made a mix he's from Atlanta and uses a lot of Atlanta trap elements. So like you'll hear like those synths and like even some soul, you know, samples and stuff. But I just really was like, this is like it. I liked, you know what I'm trying to say. I just liked that it sounded like this one thing.
But it sounds like some of the sauce of it was that there's a limited selection, but he's throwing at you throwing it at you in a bunch of different contexts, and you're like, oh, that's actually cool. Like, I mean, I didn't hear the set, but
yeah, even like he has like a new album out, and like in the first song, there's a wub wub wow, and you'll hear it in that first song, and it's kind of laid back, but it's just a wub wub wow, you know. And 4 or 5 songs later, the heaviest drop comes in and goes whoa, whoa, wow, but it's that same thing, but it's not old, it's not that sound again, it's like I said, it's that palette. I'm just inspired by it. I would like to do that too. I don't know, it just struck me really cool, but that's what I really enjoyed about that set.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I feel like that's what, you know, like a lot of artists are trying to do. They're trying to get their sound, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, you want to keep it fresh. So you want maybe other sounds too. But
yeah, and I think maybe that why it struck a chord is because that's where I'm at. It's like I need my own. I can't just be remixing everything. I need like my own. What is my own thing? Like Dream and Back of My Arms and Derealization are very different, which is all right, you know, because this is like what came out at that time. But it's like how to hone a sound of your own. It's a challenge.
Yeah, I'm kind of ADD with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the person that makes a patch and then uses it a lot. But I have found, actually, when I've made like a sound, like a lead sound specifically I'm thinking of, that I like, and then I just open up that same project and delete everything, but keep just the track so I can still play it, I'll find a new context to put it in. But it still has that, like, signature... whether or not you're gonna call it that. I don't know. I found that that's like a good way to do it. Awesome. We've gone far and wide.
Talked about it all.
Talked about it all. Yeah, basically nothing else to talk about ever. But,
let's get into politics.
Yeah, no. All right, no. Let's end before we do that. But how do you feel about Biden? No, I'm just kidding. Any shout outs, you know, besides like Daily Bread, people that, you know, you'd like to just send some love to?
How about my family doing it out with the live instruments in the electronic music scene? Pfeiffer, Josh Teed, Kofrezi. We got Abel Gray playing on the drums. There's a world of people that are incorporating their instrument into electronic music, and that's just a cool team to be on. There's so many. I don't want to miss it. Mick Wavy playing the sax and the guitar. Collab, actually, who I'm playing with tonight, has a guitar. So
you got to tell them about the history of the guitar.
I will. I'm gonna blow.
You know, it was made in 17 whatever.
I'm gonna blow his mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. So the people doing the live stuff.
Heck yeah. Vincent Antone plays it, shreds on the guitar. It's, I wouldn't call it underground, but there is some kind of movement that is people incorporating their live instrument into the set, and people like to see that.
Yeah, you see it more and more. And you also see when people are doing it because they've almost been told that that's like the wave, versus the people who are like, this is like what I do. Like you said, Kofrezi. Like, Kofrezi's fucking...
Yeah.
Like, he's crazy on the drums.
I was watching Kofrezi's videos before I played my set. I was like, who is this mystery man shredding the...
Kofrezi the pirate.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's inspiring to see everybody and seeing how they do it. Like, it's kind of... Because I kind of know where they came from. It's just like, you know, it's like, I played the saxophone and I want to get into this world. And it's kind of weird, you know? It's like, it's a world of DJs and you're sitting there with your saxophone, you know what I mean? Like, trying to figure that out. And not only does it work, but it's amazing because you're hearing both of these, you know, human element and, you know, the perfect electronic drums going over it, you know?
Last thing, where can people find you?
At Jason Leech Music. And that's all my socials.
Nice.
Leech, like the worm.
Like the worm?
A leech.
Is it considered a worm?
Actually, I don't know.
Slug.
A slug, you know, a blood-sucking.
Is a slug different than a worm?
What's the history of slugs?
Yeah, do we need to
No.
Let's get a little Wikipedia going.
But yeah, there are LEACH leeches, but I'm a LEE.
Oh, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you for clarifying.
Yeah.
I will say worms are the scariest animals out there. I like the other day I convinced myself I have a tapeworm.
Worms?
I'm kind of a hypochondriac.
Okay.
I didn't actually think I did, but then I like was looking up like, what is it like if you have a tapeworm? And I was like, oh God, this is horrible. Like it's
always a
so
bad idea.
gross to me, dude. They're
No
just
1MD for you anymore.
no.
They don't even
no.
have faces.
But they just like, and then
I got
there's like
worms.
there's those worms in underwater where they'll just like fuck up fish. They'll just like come out of
Oh,
like
yeah.
the sand, and you're like, dude, what?
And whoever thought to call them worms, that's the perfect name for them, isn't it? That's a worm.
Yeah, it feels
Wormy.
like a cuss or something.
Yeah.
Fucking worms. All right. Anyway, well, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you've made it this far, Jason, thank you so much
Thanks for having me.
coming through and being your worm self. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Love.